I'm just going to keep going. This is my latest book, which I'm not going to talk about, but it came out in the fall. It's a historical fiction / horror about a serial killer in the 19th century. But the work that brought me into this community of comics and medicine folks is Tangles, which I published like 10 years ago. And it's about my mom dying of Alzheimer's. I'm currently working on a feature-length animation about it, which is in development right now. And in order to kind of get at what I want to talk about today, I just wanted to show you the last page of the book, actually. So I'm not going to read it to you, but so when I created
changing, we're still stuck on your title page.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, crap. Just a sec.
Okay.
Can you see it now? But it's not. Okay, so if I press play, now am I on the right slide?
Now you're on Tangles, yes, but you didn't show your previous book.
Oh, okay.
I mean, most recent book.
Yeah, can you see it now?
Nope.
Okay, that's super fun.
Now,
there
it is.
Okay, well, I'll just do the non-pretty slideshare version.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so that was Agnes. This is Tangles. And so what I want to talk about today is making the most of comics that you possibly can. So when we have the fortune of working in this form called comics, we have both image and text. And when I came into comics, as you can see, I had no formal training in drawing. I would not call myself a skilled artist. And I'm not like trashing my drawings, but I can see that there's ways in which I wasn't fully exploiting the power of images to add to the story. So what I want to talk about today is how it's really, really important to have a strong story in a comic, but it's also important not to lose track of what images can do. And so I think for a lot of us who are beginners in comics, and I definitely consider myself a beginner, I always want to kind of work against this idea of like people saying, I can't draw, or, you know, I'm not an artist, so I can't do comics. And this idea that what's important in comics is like being able to draw realistically or being able to draw at a professional level. I absolutely don't believe that. And I believe that the most important part of a comic is a strong story. At the same time, I think I have in my life at different times, like not fully taken advantage of what images can do. So for example, when I did Tangles, like in a lot of these panels, the images are simply illustrating what the text says. So the first panel is about the box that my mom's ashes were in, and the text and the image are saying the same thing. The panel below that is about returning supplies to the Red Cross. You see the supplies. So most of these images are simply illustrative. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about the more recent work that I've been doing in order to kind of show, like, give you an idea of where today's workshop is coming from. A couple years ago, I started doing comics about my partner, Donna Mo. I did this series of mini comics called Chronics. I might still have a few copies if you want one, but I brought them to a comics and medicine conference a couple years ago. And Donna Mo had chronic pain for decades, and we'd been together for about 20 years. And I wanted to write about our lives. And I wanted to write about somebody I loved being in chronic pain without constantly drawing her body. And so what I tried to do was some abstract depictions of pain and the kind of chronic nature of it. So this was one of the first comics I did. And I tried using lines as a way of talking about pain and talking about this constant ongoing nature of the pain. So you can see that like I've kind of moved away from a more representational way of using imagery. Dynamo died in April, and obviously my life completely got turned upside down. And my art practice also got turned upside down. So as I was learning to move through this new reality, I needed comics in order to move through that new reality. And I needed a different kind of comics from the comics that, that I had been making. So I decided, I think now is the time that I'm gonna try to learn how to do watercolors. And I'm gonna explore how color and shape can express what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna move forward from where I was with the chronics. So I'm gonna read you a comic that I posted on Instagram. So I've been making these watercolor comics and posting them on Instagram. So I'm gonna read you one called Queer. Okay, so this is called Queer. I don't think I need to give you a content warning. It's obviously about death. Okay. Oh, oops, sorry. Okay. I love words and I never stopped trying to describe your gender with them, but it wasn't possible. It's more than the fact that you identified as a woman and rejected anything feminine, passed as a man or boy at times, dressed like an elegant fag we called Pierre. Words like man, boy, woman, feminine, fag became unstable in your shining presence. Butch had no chance. Masculine, androgynous, it all fell apart. You tipped me off balance, disoriented me, robbed me of words in the most consensual silencing. So when you turned ethereal and golden on the day of your death, in a way I was not surprised. So that's what I've been doing lately. This has been a life-saving for me. I don't think that I would be able to go through what I'm going through, well, without friends and medication, but also comics. And I'm trying to write about things like gender and love and death. And they're things that are very hard to draw.